Welcome back to my channel. I am Clement Townsend, the video journalism advisor for youth, where I teach the step-by-step process to master storytelling. This video is for beginners who are just getting started with editing. Certainly, the video that you shoot plays a key role in your final product. So I encourage you to check out the videography for beginners tutorial that I did. The link to that one is at the top of your screen. When you know how to edit, that can unlock a world of opportunities, from editing stories, to editing wedding videos, to editing sports mixtapes and movies. The list goes on and on. Adobe Premiere Pro is the industry standard when it comes to video editing software. So this training is super valuable. Let's get going. Once you open up Adobe Premiere Pro, this is the home screen. You see its home screen right here. You want to get started with a new project. Before we get started on a new project, I do want to point out that Adobe Premiere Pro does have some helpful videos as well. So if you want some further information, if you want to learn a little bit more, Adobe has videos for you on the platform. Premiere Pro overview, importing media, editing your clips, etc., etc. So that is under the Learn tab. You can go there if you ever get stuck. However, this video, I am going to go step by step, show you how I edit, give you some shortcuts, and really take you through the process so you'll know how to edit your story from start to finish. Let's get started with a new project. First thing you want to do is name it. You want to give it a title. Mine will be VJ Pro Adobe Tutorial. Could put 2020 in here. Yours will be whatever your story is. Whatever your story is, that is what you will name your project. And then where do you want your project to be located? Again, I have my external hard drive here. So I want my project to be located on my external hard drive as well. In my video journal test, this has the 6 folders that we created in the editing folder organization lesson. So I want my project to be located here as well. So if you have an external hard drive or a jump drive, you should locate your project there. If for some reason you're working on a desktop, you can locate your project there as well. But again, I advise you to have some type of jump drive or external hard drive, because if you're saving items on your desktop, that can cause your computer to slow down quite a bit. And you don't want your computer to work so hard. You don't want it to lag or possibly even freeze if you're working. That could result or would result in a very frustrating process. Once you've named it and you've identified the location, press OK. Once you press OK, you should have these 4 windows. You should be on the editing part. If for some reason other windows come up, check to make sure that you're on editing. You could be on learning. You could be on graphics, but you want to be on editing. 4 windows are your bin. That's where all your media will be located. If you have pictures, if you have music, certainly your B-roll, any other items, slides, all those will be located in your bin. This will be your preview window, or I would like to call it sometimes your raw video window. Once you double click on your pictures or you double click on your B-roll, it will show up in your preview window. If you have an interview that's 5 minutes that's unedited, you edit it here, you double click, it shows up here in the preview window, and then you edit it. Once you edit a clip, then you will start to see it in the program window. The program window is edited video. And edited video comes from your timeline. This is your timeline down here on the right side. Once you edit individual clips, you then move them to your timeline. Your timeline is a sequence of edited clips. And you play those clips and see what you have by looking at the program window. So let's get started. We want to import media. There are 3 ways you can import media. You can do file up top and then import. That is one way. Also, if again you're working off your desktop and you have the folders on your desktop, you can drag them in here. That's another way. I personally like to double click. That's the way that I would do it. Double click, import media to start. Certainly I have video journal test. And I have my 6 folders that we created. There's the project file as well. But I just want to bring all of that in. Just press import on the right side. Bring all of that in. Yes, I want to import my entire project. Now it says the written story file format not supported because that's a document. That's my written story, but that's okay. We don't need that. We just created that folder so everything can be organized and together. So video journal test. I've got my B-roll. I've got my audio. We are now ready to go. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your settings are correct. We have no new sequence here. If you do file and you do new and you do sequence, it's going to ask you some settings and things of that nature. I want to avoid all that. So whatever your first clip is, your timeline will conform to the settings of your first clip. Whatever your first clip is, we don't have anything down here. Whatever your first clip is, your timeline will conform to the settings of that first clip. So whatever your video is, I just want to start actually with the interview. So that's going to help my timeline conform. So I'm going to do my first sound bite. Again, I've already identified my sound bites. We went over the lesson to review your footage and your interviews. So I'm just going to do the sound bite first, just for the purpose of making sure that my settings are right when I drop my clip in. And then I'll actually record my audio in Adobe Premiere. So I'll do my soundbite first to make sure my settings are right, and then I'll do my audio. It's a little bit out of order, but it's the easiest way to make sure that your settings are correct. So we're going to start here in the source window. And in the source window, I know my first soundbite is at about 2:05 because I've already logged it. And I'm looking for I'm very distracted. I'm a very distracted person. So when you're editing, your endpoint where you want to start your edit, that's an I, and where you want to end your edit, that's an O. Endpoint is where my edit starts. That's why I want it to end. I want to have an endpoint I, outpoint O. So I want to start my edit where this student says I'm very distracted. So I'll put an I down right here. I'm gonna press I on my keyboard and watch it turns gray. Gray. I'm very distracted.
Yes, I'm a very distracted person.
So it wasn't clean.
Yes,
we hear cuz. So I want to move a little bit to right here. I. So my left and right arrows on my keyboard allow me to go frame by frame till I get to I. Do you hear I? So I press my I button on my keyboard for my endpoint. That's where my edit starts, and I'm going to go to the end. The last thing that she says, it's hard being focused or something to that effect.
I'm a very distracted person. I get distracted a lot. And when I'm not in a working environment such as a classroom or an office, I get very distracted by everything that is there, like my supplies, my pencils and stuff, my bed, my jewelry or whatever is there. I just get so distracted and I'm not focused.
I'm not focused. So again, now we have an endpoint and an outpoint. You see it's these two markers and gray in between. So I have a long 5-minute interview, but I have an endpoint and an outpoint. It starts at I'm very distracted and it ends with I'm not focused. Endpoint to start my edit, I, outpoint O. Now I want to get it to my sequence. And again, my first clip, the timeline conforms to that. So I want to go down here with the interview. And I want to control right click, new sequence from clip. And now we have a sequence. And we have our first edited clip.
I'm a very distracted person.
I'm a very distracted person. I can go to the front of an edit by pressing the up arrow that takes me to the beginning, or I can go to the end with the down arrow. So this takes me back and forth between edits. So I could just listen to the very end.
So distracted. And I'm not focused.
I'm not focused. So first thing I want to do now is I want to make sure I title my sequence. Here it has Jane interview, but I want this to be VJ Pro story. Once I type this in or tap this, now VJ Pro story, so I know what this sequence is. I want to move this to the side because we're about to get ready to voice our first track. That is just a portion, just a sneak peek of what you will learn in the Video Journalism Pro online course. Certainly we go in depth into the editing process. As a matter of fact, we go through the complete storytelling process, all the way from finding a story, setting it up,
doing your interview, writing the story, voicing the story, of course, editing the story, and publishing your story for the world. This will improve your writing skills, your speaking skills, certainly your creativity. As a matter of fact, it gives you the in-demand skills you need to have success. For more details, be sure to click on the link in the description.